I'm Koen Roberts. Welcome to You in Wellness. Join us as we sit with Grandmaster Professor Don Jacob as we talk about health, as we talk about wellness, as we talk about his personal journey, as we talk about the growth of Purple Dragon, and as we talk about some challenges and overcoming challenges in You in Wellness. So Grandmaster, tell me, who are you? Who are you?
Well, I can answer that question in several ways. Depends on who I'm talking to, my dear friend. But first of all, I want to thank you for, inviting me on your podcast and stuff like that. But I would answer that question in different ways with different people, because I like to say, when somebody say, who are you? Sometimes I'll say, why do you want to know? So that I could take it from there, because they'll give me a leader why they want to know, so I could tell them who I am. Because if I'm telling somebody who I am and they're really not interested in who I am, I'm just really preaching to the choir. All right? And then sometimes people say, well, who are you? And I would say, I would just say, well, I am that I am, like how they would say in the Bible, And then other people, I would say, well, I am Don Jacob. That's the name I was given. I am a man. I'm a man of integrity. I love people. I love traveling. I just love to see progress and that kinds of stuff. So when I say, who are you? I am that guy who would always try to support somebody else's dream, who are positive and they're real and they, no artificiality, only originality. I want to work with that person,
That's lovely, man. That's lovely. So I have a question here for you, right? Have you ever been broke before?
Oh yeah, I born broke. I born broke. I was born in a little village, in the countryside of Trinidad and Tobago here, called Mondiablo. And Mondiablo was really known for what they call best village. It was a very cultural village, fishing and that kind of thing. A lot of poor people, but they were rich in love and rich in, it's Mondiablo. And so I lived in a straw house, a thatch roof, with what you call lipe ground, with the cow down and mud, and that was the flooring, and a fireside and like a stone oven, and no running water and that kind of stuff. So to some people, as I say this doesn't mean anything to them because their experience is the same. So it doesn't really matter. But then again, it have some people their experience is not the same and they can't comprehend this. Like my wife couldn't comprehend this, and when she came, to be here with me in Trinidad and that kind of thing, and I took her to say, for you to understand me, the question, to understand who is Don Jacob, let's walk backward into my life. So I'll take you to where I was born on that spot, and then you would know if you really, really, really want to live the rest of your life with this guy. So who's Don Jacob? So that I'm the guy who just really loves people.
So how you got started in martial arts, man?
Well, I used to get beaten, coming from Mondiablo. Bigger boys, when I come into town here, they would beat me, they would call me names, they would call me country bookie. And I didn't have any bigger brother. It was just my sister, Ruth, and I. And so I didn't have no way to defend myself. So it's either I learned to run or learn to fight. And I could have run really, really fast, naturally. Yeah. If I wasn't a martial arts black belt, I could have been Trinidad and Tobago, maybe first Olympian or something like that. I could have run just running off of fear of getting beaten, getting advantage. So I decided to either learn to fight back, or just keep getting beat. So, I started martial arts learning judo.
Now, what age you started?
I started at 9 years old. So I'm doing the martial arts now for 61 years, Yeah, and I'm teaching for the last 54. This year I'll be 55 years.
Yeah, man. Congratulations, man.
Thank
Congratulations. You. So where did Purple Dragon come from?
Well, Purple Dragon, when I started learning martial arts and stuff like that, we used to train. And we used to call the dojo where Westbury Lane, number 14A, the Hell Yeah. That was the name of the dojo. We didn't have a name. But going and look at the Chinese movie and all that, everything is a dragon this and a dragon that. And so those days was 25 cents to go to the movie, And we decided we wanted to have a name other than Hell Yeah. Me, myself, and a few guys who my students. And one guy says, why we don't call this thing Golden Dragon? And I says, I like the dragon, but I don't like the golden. For some reason, I like purple. Yeah. So that's the name Purple Dragon got his name like that. We're just playing around with names. Yeah. And then some people say, I would never call that Purple Dragon. Because people think it's like Hell's Angels, some motorbike gang or Purple Dragon. And I didn't listen to them. They say you should give it some national name like Trinidad and Tobago, this and that. And I'm so happy I didn't do it like that. Purple Dragon was just a blessing in this guy. Purple Dragon International.
International. I mean, that's a household name now, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know the power of words, my friend. When I say Purple Dragon International, I never knew that Purple Dragon would have been international.
Well, and I would love for you to talk to me about that. I mean, how did that move from, you know, from just a concept, and I'm jumping ahead of myself here. How did that move from just a concept to like, yo, this thing is international now, and like, yeah, wow, this thing is way beyond what I started and what I thought it could have been. What happened there?
You know, Purple Dragon, I never could envision that Purple Dragon would have been international, but I just call it international and just start traveling to go to New York and compete and go into different places and compete and stuff like that. And people seeing me and they come in from different part of the world to just come to visit and see where this guy, this black boy, you know, just jump in the air and everybody leaving their ring to come to see me fight. And that in itself was something else, and it caused Purple Dragon to be really international. And I met a guy by the name of Anthony Sorali. He came to Trinidad and he was doing martial arts with somebody named Dawood Haji, and he saw me working out and he said, you know, man, I need to be a Purple Dragon student. And then he introduced me to a guy by the name of Johnny Madrid, who is still with me after 50 how much years. He's still with me. He's running one of the New York branch in Queens. And he was in Grenada, and I used to go over to Grenada to help him. And so our first international dojo, was in Grenada. Wow. And so we went to Grenada, and from Grenada we had somebody in Antigua, and people used to come from different islands to come and train with me. And then from different parts, as I go out to compete in America and Europe, and so people start coming to Trinidad to stay with me and train with me and go back and teach the Danjitsu Ryu, you know? Wow. So that's how it...
So when did you achieve your first black belt?
When I achieved my first black belt. When I achieved my first black belt, I was about 12 years old, you know? Yeah, you know? Yeah, so that was, it was a beautiful experience, achieving the black belt. And I still have my brown belt before what I just showed you there. Yeah. And that brown belt actually was my sensei's brown belt. And he gave me that belt, you know? He said, man, you got to have this belt. As long as you live, have this belt. And if you ever have to pass this on to anybody, pass it on to somebody worthwhile. So what's going to happen is that it's going to go into our archives in the museum one day.
Yeah. So people beating you up, you join martial arts. It was either a run or fight. You join martial arts. You say, nah, I ain't running, I'm going and fight. So you started martial arts. You get your first black belt at 12.
Never tried to be a leader, you know. I just was a born leader somehow. But even though I'm tremendously shy, but nobody will know it. You know, If I tell people I'm a shy guy, up to now, you know, they wouldn't really believe. But I always had a energy for leading. For some reason, it didn't matter if it was my sister's a year and 6 months older than me, but I was the leader. When I started to become a strong young man, I became the leader in the home. To guide my mom, help her, to put food on the table. I became a leader. And wherever I go, people always sort of electing, let Don lead this, let Don. So it's an energy that was always, even though that I was shy, but I would go forward with full absolute confidence and try to do my best. And that leadership quality. And to the point that sometimes I travel and my wife could tell you, people just walk up to me and say, who are you? Like your original question. You know, are you a police officer? Are you a priest? Are you a politician? People just look at me and they could feel my energy and they feel that there's an energy of some sort of person of importance.
At what point did you realize that you wanted something big, like, yo, this thing going?
That's a really, really good question. You know, that is really is a difficult question to answer to, because different things happen for me at different points to find out, like, wow, this is a big thing. But the key thing about that is hunger. Hunger is what let me know, hey, you're onto something, you know. And I start charging people money, and I charge them $2.50 TT a month. That's what the original fee was. And then that's when I know I was onto something big, because I was able to pay the rent, to help my mother the rent, which was $6 a month those days, you know, and to be able to bring home a little bit of food. and stuff because I didn't have a man in the house.
Right.
My mother was, people would want to call her those days a kitchen mechanic in a very derogatory way, and stuff like cleaning after people, kids and all that kinds of stuff. And I had to step up and try to, to help my mom and my sister. My sister, as I said, she's a year, 6 months older than me and got pregnant as into one of those teenage and pregnancy situation, and I have to step up to try to help without a father. So I had to step up to help her to take care of her baby and take care of my mom and take care of myself. So that's when I knew that I was onto something, because I have to continue to pursue this.
And what age was that?
Oh man, from 14, 15, that kind of thing. So I was forced to be a man.
Yeah.
I was forced to be a man at that age. So I start thinking, and then again, I never had friends my age. I hardly had friends. All my friends was people like in the 50s and the 60s, and they had liked me for some reason. Old people always like me, older people, and they used to pray for me and that kind of stuff. So that's how it all started, man.
Yeah, no video games around that time.
No, it never had no video games, and we didn't have no cell phone, and we didn't have none of those things,
Yeah.
So that everything that you had was, every communication and stuff like that, it was really interactive. It was really beautiful. Those days were beautiful. These days are still beautiful, but it was, it was nice too back then.
So the first international branch was in Grenada.
Then Antigua, and so on and so on. And now we are in the United States, several parts of the United States, Canada, Europe, all over the Caribbean.
And so this was just from you doing you, and people seeing you and saying, I want to train with that guy.
I want to train with that guy. And where is he from?
Yeah.
What part of Jamaica he's from?
Yeah.
And I keep telling them that, no, it's not Jamaica, it's Trinidad. That kind of stuff. Tell them it's Trinidad. And you have to always explain people and tell people that Trinidad is not a part of Jamaica. It's like family, but it's not the same. But going and fighting, and people seeing your talent and your hunger, that hunger because sometimes I fight in and they put up $500, and 500, that's 500 US. Those days the money used to be 2 to 1. Those days,
2 to 1.
Yeah, the money used to be two TT dollars or 1 US those days. But so if you win, it's like if you win, you double up, So I going over there, man, and I fighting real hard, and I always wanted to, anytime I fight, I wanted people to do a couple of things. I wanted people to know where Trinidad is.
Yeah.
So I had this from young, I had this national pride. Whether or not it was good, it was great, or it wasn't good, I'm not so sure still up to now, because when you come back to Trinidad, after you go and compete over there and come back home with some sort of victory, you get treated like a dog with mange in Trinidad. And that culture still persists until this day. Until this day. We're talking about how much years later you come back to Trinidad, and when you come back to Trinidad, 9 out of 10 times you could guarantee some officer, some immigration officer, or some custom officer are going to treat you with disrespect, or they're not going to have a warm energy, their face push up and they're yelling at somebody, and all that kind of stuff. So when you're coming back, you always, it's like, oh boy, you're holding your breath. I hope you ain't going to yell at me this time. You come back from winning events with your team, and the greeting is, where you all bought those trophies. And you feel so bad, because when you leave in the States, or you leave in Canada, or you leave in Europe, or you leave, people want to take pictures with you, they want autograph, they want, so you're leaving in splendor, but it's like you're coming back in some kind of something,
I mean, I've always said that you're one of the unsung heroes in Trinidad, and not celebrated enough, I mean, what would you do differently to change that narrative? Or what would you encourage the powers that be to change that narrative?
Well, I don't know if I could encourage the powers to be, because the first thing that people have to do is to be able to understand and love the Constitution and the coat of arms and all those things. So if I had to, when I was leaving Trinidad to become an American citizen, I call all my dojo heads and I tell everybody I would like them to go out and buy a Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. That was my departing speech to them. Getting a Trinidad and Tobago Constitution and learning the Constitution, not for no political advancement or no kind of thing like that, just to be able to know your rights. Teach the young ones, because if you understand your Constitution pretty much, you start developing a national pride. And I believe if somebody have national pride, we're going to have less crime, we're going to have less, because you love your country.
Yeah.
And if the Constitution going to be the highest laws, and you could uphold the laws and the people who making those laws, because we know laws were designed to protect the rich minority from the poor majority.
Wow.
So when you are poor majority, you need to understand the laws to figure out how you could use them to the best of your advantage and not get in trouble based on ignorance.
Oh, wow.
You know? And sometimes they pray, you just have to say, God, protect me from the ignorance of the majority of men that I will have to deal with.
Wow.
That's a simple prayer.
Yeah.
Just protect me from the ignorance of the majority of men. So understanding your constitution, even just a little bit. Like, I don't know the Trinidad constitution very, very well because I get discouraged. Going further and going deeper into it, you know, because when I told the students, my instructors, to try and make sure that everybody work with the Constitution, the kind of feedback we was getting was so unpatriotic, was amazing.
Yeah.
They say, you know, people say, like, you're trying to get your students involved in politics, why you have them reading a Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago? They didn't come here for that. They come to learn karate.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
But kara means empty, and te means hand. So when you say something like, I come to you with only empty hands, I have no weapons, but should I be forced to defend myself, my principles or my honor? Should it be a matter of life or death? Right or wrong? Here are my weapons, my empty hands, karate, my empty hands. So when you're practicing this empty hand fighting style, you have to empty your head and empty all the misconceptions and empty all that and refill with a different kind of understanding of the truth of who you are. And so that's what martial arts really is. And so once a guy could have that level of consciousness and conscientiousness, then he or she will be a different type of martial artist. They're going to be a martial artist, not just a martial athlete. Because most people are martial athletes, you know, they could fight, they could jump and all that, but you're going to get old like me one day. And I used to have the best, I used to be ranked in the top 10 best fighters in the world, martial artists in the world one time. I can't do that again. But what I've learned and accumulated the knowledge over the years of going to more than 70 countries, because traveling is a phenomenal experience. Oh, wow. You meet all kinds of people. They encourage you to learn different things, to understand the culture, to understand, they want to know about your culture. So that when you get involved in this, the kind of things that you're going to learn, you know, and bring back home to Trinidad here and share with other people, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. How did you develop Danjitsu forms 1 and 2 and all the way down?
I just naturally had a creative spirit from small. I'm not bragging, just confessing. I think I always had a creative genius living inside of me. I just didn't know because I was shy and then I was beaten down by everybody. You can't do this. I come from a culture, you could never amount to anything. You can't do this, you can't do that. But going to America and competing and seeing some of the greats and competing against some of the greats and looking at Bruce Lee having his own style, Jet Kune-Do and all that, I say, you know, I could do this. I could formulate the moves that I learn, and as I fight in some of the top guys and they're hitting me with moves and I'm hitting them with moves, I could put this together and I could do something for Trinidad and have a Trinidad martial arts style that is unsurpassed. So that every time I practice a move on somebody and I score a point, I say, you know, I'm going to put that in a kata, I'll put that in a technique. And then this thing starts, people start asking me if I could come and teach in their country, in their school, in their, you know, I say, but this, you know, next thing I end up Madison Square Garden and here and there. I say, man, this thing is something else. And I didn't know my true value. I didn't know my true worth. I underestimated myself because I was shy, because I was from Trinidad, and it always have a few words to you. If you have a little argument or a little misunderstanding with somebody, they sort of dumb you down. You're black, you're ugly, you stink. It always go together like that. You're black, you're ugly, you stink, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, you'll never amount to nothing, you're a waste, and that kinds of stuff. So that's how people are just so. And when you're shy, you tend to believe, especially if the person a little more influential, you tend to start to believe it. So to be able to have the strength to believe that you don't believe, that was another story.
So you have any neck pain? How about shoulder pains? Back pains or lower back pains? You have any hip pains, knee pains, ankle pains? Plantar fasciitis or any Achilles tendonitis? Any carpal tunnel syndrome? Hey, here's one. At the Rehab Center, 15 years of experience, we are here to help you with those pains. Into manual therapy, physical therapy, with our orthopedic consultant, with massage therapy, with exercise therapy, and body alignments. If you have any one of those discomforts, Call us 703-1579 or 747-3422. Rehab Center. Remember, we have your back.
So talk to me about your self-worth. How were you able to identify your self-worth? Because that's a thing a lot of people struggle with right now.
Identify themselves?
Yeah.
Well, there's no greater study than the study of knowing the truth of who you are.
Yeah.
A lot of people know who they are, but who they is, but they don't know the truth. You know, who you are. But so whenever you start examining yourself and you start learning to look at yourself, you know, from inside out, and ask yourself tough questions. Ask yourself the same question you start. Don Jacob, who are you? Why are you here? What is your purpose? What you expect out of this life? Because nobody expect nothing good of you. You know? But you have to be able to say to yourself, that's the last word in the kun, the Doji Purple Dragon kun, I believe in me.
Yeah.
And coming from a strong, and some people don't like to hear this, but coming from a strong spiritual Baptist background, where I learned how to chant. I learned how to pull what you call adoption. I was baptized. You know, I was blindfolded for 3 days. I moan. I sleep on the ground. I held candles for days with candle grease burning my hand at a young age. So I was doing things that my grandmother and my grandfather and my auntie and was putting me through spiritual journeys, you know, at a young age. So I was mature spiritually beyond a lot of people who was priest and pastor and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I used to pray and sweat when I prayed because I used to pray with deep belief. But I didn't know that I was onto something.
Well, so this is my next question.
Yeah.
So if I'm a young man and I feel that leadership spirit inside of me and I feel like, yo, listen, I call to something greater, what to do?
Just go ahead and do what you're called to do. You know, you just have to be able to say, what is my direction? And one of the things about that same faith that I'm talking about, they have something, you know, they spin you around. If you ever see somebody, they would turn you, it's called pointing. And they would turn you around, and wherever you stop, you giddy up, or wherever you stop, they tell you walk. And it could be east, it could be west, it could be north, it could be south. But wherever you stop, when they spin you, that's your direction. It's called pointing. They point you in the right direction. And so there are people, elders there, and they call them pointers. These guys are spiritual pointers. Now there are people say, well, this guy's a fraud, or he's this or that. People can say whatever they want. You know, people, people, no matter what you do, people gonna always say what they say, think what they think, and stuff like that. You have to do what you have to do. So when you get pointed in the right direction, once you believe that your life is redirected, go in that, because people tell you that direction, but when you get pointed, that is your direction, that's where your future is. My dear brother, that's where you have to go and grow.
Yeah, because you had to fight against sometimes even parents as well, you know. For me, when I started on my journey, my dad was like, nah, I don't want you going that way, you know. And I was just like, nah, Dad, I go in this way, and I don't want to go that way. I see my way here. But he was like, no, I don't want you to go that way. I want you to go this way. But Dad, I could see it clearly this way. I want to go this way. And he and I, we ended up having a fractured relationship as a result of that. You know, but thank God before he died, you know, we were able to mend that. And so I agree with you. I agree with you. That definitely when you see it, walk with it, run with it. Yeah, don't wait.
When I have an aunt, Auntie Agatha, she's dead now, and she was one of my spiritual gurus, my spiritual teacher. And she said to me, your name is Sunshine. She said your name, one of your spiritual names. I wouldn't tell the others, right? Because you're supposed to be able to protect those names. But one of your name is Sunshine. She said, when you get up, you, sun, just shine. And in one of my books that I wrote, which is called The Fighting Man's Bible, you know, I talk about my auntie, my spiritual auntie, saying that, you know, whenever somebody, you have to know when if you want to be a good martial artist or a good person, you have to know when you're being put to sleep. You have to know, because people are going to put you to sleep.
Yeah.
You have to know when you was put to sleep. And you have to know exactly what time you wake up, she said, so what I want you to do when you go home tonight, she said, I want you to know exactly what time you was put to sleep or you fall asleep. And for 3 days, I trying to figure this out. And I can't figure it out. Every time I lie down on the bed and I'm trying to keep up to know what time I'm going to fall asleep, I never could figure it out. And then on the third day, it came to me. Oh, my goodness. Auntie was saying, people in your life will try to put you to sleep. They'll have you docile, they'll have you drowsy with the words they're telling you and the discouraging. And you can't make that, blah, blah, blah. They're putting you to sleep so you can't experience your true greatness. But when you wake up is when you have the act of disbelieving what they want you to believe, because you going in the right direction. You wasn't delivered in this world in defeat, but you just don't know that you don't know. You know, because everybody, the more you know, the more you know you don't know. True. Right? And you need to know. So you have to be able to go around people who could help you to open your wisdom. Yeah. You have a wisdom channel in you. Know? Yeah. You could open, you could feel it in your belly. You know? Sometimes you just close your eye and you're breathing. You do your deep breath, and then when you open back your eye, you say, boy, I get the answer. Yeah. Or sometimes you just, you go out in your yard with a little cutlass or a little something, or waka, and you start cutting some bush. And the answer you're looking for in the bush, the answer was hidden. All you need to do is to just go out and clean. Because whenever you start a cleaning process, regardless if it's clean in your house, answers come. But it's come in a clean place. Yeah. You cut in the bush, it comes. If you clean out your car, just washing out your car, so God, I just remember I had to do that. Answers come in. But it always come in whenever you're doing something positive, something cleaning, something cleansing, something, you understand what I'm saying?
You're creating space.
You're creating space, you're moving things out. You wasn't delivered in this world in defeat. And you become, after a while, you become the master of your emotions, so nobody else can control your emotion, because there's motion versus emotion. And you are the master. You're the master. So as you practice your martial arts and you practice your love, the true love, and love is a really overrated word and abused word and stuff like that, because the thing that's stronger than love, the word that is stronger and the energy that's stronger than love itself is being authentic, Because you could, if you love somebody and it's authentic, that's real love. But if you just love somebody because I love you, because you're good to me, and that the first day we break up, it ain't working, but if you're authentic, even if we break up because I was already authentic and always authentic, and we could still coexist.
We could do that.
We could still coexist. Even though we might have things different, we could coexist. One of my teachers always say, Professor Wally, may he rest in peace. And he say, you do your thing and I do mine. Some people like ice cream, some like Jell-O. Some people like ice cream and Jell-O, but you do your thing, I do mine. And if, by the way, we have anything in common, we will coexist. But if we have nothing in common, you go your way, I go mine. I ain't hate you.
No sweat
Don't
on
hate
my
on
back.
me. No sweat
on your
and
back
we go
either.
our way, because our way is a way. Wherever you go, your way is where you find your way. If I go your way, I might not find my way. So I ascend you in your way, and I ascend me in the other way. And if we ever meet again on the next journey, it's okay. If we never meet again, it's okay too.
But so this is one of my questions as well. Tell me about your mentors that you've had in your journey thus far. Well,
one of my mentors and stuff like that, because I didn't grow up a lot with my dad, but you know how sometimes mentorship doesn't always be the person that you're following at the time, Sometimes the mentorship is behind, Because sometimes your father, your mother telling you things, your auntie, your spiritual leaders and stuff like that. And then the mentorship is on you. Because sometimes mentor is like you want to follow this person, you go to them, you have an issue, and they'll help you and mentor you through the thing and show you. But sometimes people talk to you or they show you actions, you didn't listen. But when you find yourself in a jam, you say, oh my goodness, boy, this is hindsight, That man was trying to teach me, but I didn't realize that I was resisting. I was resisting progress and I was resisting change. But now that man dead and gone. But everything that the man say or this woman say is so clear to me now. So that is your mentor, but they're gone. But there's not a too late, but there's a too late should be the grind. Because now the information didn't die. It just came the time when you needed to be mature enough to utilize it. You wasn't mature enough when you was getting it. You wasn't strong enough to absorb it. But now, it's useful, you absorb it now, you use it now when you say, boy, if you was only here to see how I progress in with the information you leave me with. But I didn't know at the time. I was too young. I wasn't ready yet. But I wasn't ready to. But you was giving me these nuggets, almost like a will that I could use when the time comes. And so that when we're talking about mentorship, we're talking about either behind or in front. Or just, side by side. Gotcha. It depends on what kind of mentorship you're dealing with.
I understand. So I see you have a group of men around you, man. And I'm always encouraged to see the group of men that you have around you. And you're never without a group of men around. How important is it to choose your friends, one? Have good friends, too? And how have these friends influenced you in your journey as well?
That's a good question, man. You know, you just wiping me out, man. That's a good question. But you know, to have good, strong, solid men and women around you is really critically important. You know, you need to have, again, I'll use the word, authentic people around you. You know, people who have your back behind your back. And that is something kind of rare, to be able to have the people, you know, that they're there in good times and not so good times, but they're there, they're dependable. You know, if something happened, you know that you could count on them. You know, and if you had to ask yourself a question, which we ask our students when they go in for a black belt, you know, do you know what is the weakest moment of your life? And if that weak moment should ever occur, who can you go to with absolute certainty, knowing that they wouldn't turn you away once they don't have to, or they can help you, they wouldn't turn you away. And in response, you could do the same for them. So it's not only who I could go to, but who could come to me. You know? And so all those things is so really important, having good men, as you asked, and good women, and good people around you, and you are also good to them. That sometimes, you know, I ask my students sometimes, exclude me for now. If something happened to you, who are 5 persons, you know you could go to with absolute certainty that they will help you. It doesn't matter if you want blood, you wanted a loan, you wanted to discuss something about your family matters going on, you want somebody to talk with your kids, you want, they wouldn't turn you away. Yeah. Who's 5 person you know that you could go to with anything without sugarcoating it or trying to, you know, just go and say, listen, this is the situation. You don't have to edit anything. The friendship is so good. The friendship is so real that you don't have to be dishonest and editing it because you're afraid it will come back or they'll throw it back in your face. Not that kind of friendship.
Weaponize it.
I'm talking about true friendship is true friend share.
Yeah.
We sharing.
Wow.
This is not no friendship that is a sinking ship.
Yeah.
This is a friendship that is it's like a brother, a sister, you know? And so it have 32 people. This is one of my latest books that I just did. Sorry. Oh boy, I did a couple books, but this one here, and this is a hardcover, right? It's called The Journey of the Purple Dragon, She-Hands, right? And this book have 32 She-Hands, and over my career, I've produced these 32 She-Hands, and dead and alive, those who are dead or alive, it mentioned. So I wrote this book to honor all the people who stay long enough. Some guys here for 50 years with me, 54 years, some guys here for 35 years, some, you know, the whole life. More the guys in here, every one of these guys in this book, A Journey with a Purple Dragon, she has spent more than half of their life in Purple Dragon. That's more than half of their life. And not many organizations around the world have a book like this to honor these people, or not many organizations have people that spend more than half of their life and still active.
Well, this is so now how do you get people like that to contribute such indelible parts of their lives to a system, to an organization? I mean, what was the draw? What was the connect? What was the glue? What's the glue that keeps them together?
I think, again, if you're authentic, once you're authentic, you would attract certain type of people who are also authentic.
Yeah.
And, it have many people who came into Purple Dragon over the years, they leave and have their own school, they are competitors, and many people get into Purple Dragon, but Purple Dragon never get into them. They even became black belts, but they became black belt as an athlete, not a black belt as a black belt, as somebody who's, somebody who's the true blue, the real deal, the true purple. They just came and they learned some movements. They're the black belts who learned some fighting movements. But in terms of the philosophy, the lifestyle, learning loyalty. And loyalty is unswaying devotion. Even when the odds are against you, you're still loyal. Not blind. Wow. Not blind. Yeah. You're staying quiet, you're looking at things, but that quietness, that humbleness is a quiet power that you're operating from. You're not being led astray, and you wouldn't allow yourself to be led astray. But you know what loyalty is, and you know that when you have a relationship with somebody, it's going to have good parts of it, and it's going to have great parts, and going to have parts that you don't understand as yet. But sometimes we just get away from it. But I don't like what you do. I don't like what you say. I go on from here. And when they go and they jump on the next train, on the next journey, and they go in the next direction, and they realize the best thing that they have ever had, they just walk away from it, and it's called Purple Dragon. And the thing about, I'm not just saying so because I'm the founder of Purple Dragon. If I was a white man, a Japanese man, a Chinese man, or some kind of thing, as I'm talking to you in this interview, you would have an audience with what I'm saying and what I'm teaching. You would have been able to rent a place. and people paying to come and hear the interview, even though it will be there all the time, but they want to be a part of the setting.
Yeah.
So that they buy a chair.
Yeah.
Everybody buy a seat to come to listen to this live, and that money will go to help your business to grow because they understand that what you're doing and what I'm doing and what we're doing, they need to buy a seat. You understand? Yeah. So when we talk about friendship and we talk about leadership and we talk about good men and good women around you and why did they stay, what was the glue? The glue had to be Don Jacob or something bigger than Don Jacob, because now Purple Dragon is something bigger than Don Jacob. Long ago, Purple Dragon was black and white. I was the only black belt, and one of my students was the white belt. Now, the amount of thousands of people with black belt in Purple Dragon. We have doctors, lawyers, we have people, police officers, we have, school teachers, we have good fathers, good mothers, all the pilots, all kinds of people you could think about now in Purple Dragon. In some of our dojos, in some countries, in terms of people and religion, we have about 25 or 30 different kinds of people and religion in only one dojo.
Wow.
One dojo.
Wow.
So we have Christians, we have Muslims, we have Sikh, we have Buddhists, we have Jews, we have atheists, we have all kinds of different people, and they all take off their shoes at the door, they all put on their dogi, they all bow, emptying themselves of all the doubt, the worry, and the fear, and they come into the door. Do means way, and Joe means right now, let's find our way, right? So they come into the dojo, and everybody start. Doesn't matter if it's a high priest, doesn't matter what you are, everybody come bare feet, everybody take off their jewelry, everybody take off all the titles, everything, and everybody it's like the same level, and we training and we sweating the sweet sweat together, and when we leave, then that is it. You feel good, and then you come back again next day, and we do that, and you keep strengthening your character, giving life and purpose to your character. You're building a good character. You're building a strong universal self in the dojo. You're building all your techniques within an unshakable manner. So wherever you go, you're telling yourself, man, I am somebody, I am something, I wasn't delivered in defeat, and I will make it. And everybody around me have to make it.
Yeah.
Once they're thinking a certain way, and it's not stinking thinking, we're going to move forward and we'll support each other. We have each other back, and we're going to push each other. We're going to pull each other. We're going to encourage each other, but there's no stopping us now,
Yeah, that's a hard value to find these days.
But it's possible if you find the right people and you find them at the right time in the right place. Because sometimes you're looking for the right people in the wrong place. You're looking for the right people in the wrong place.
Wow.
It's looking like you want to get married and you want to get married to a doctor. You have to go online by the hospital. If you're looking for people who's thing, you go by something, you go by the cemetery, and you find out other people with their energy and all kind of thing, right? That's how it is. So you have to go where the action is.
How were you able to build value for yourself and for your brand going forward?
I once heard a very successful man talking to his staff, and he said, we could afford to lose a few hundreds of thousands of dollars. We could afford to even lose a few million. That's what he said. But one of the things that we cannot afford to lose, is our integrity and our purpose and all that kind of thing. Like if we lose our integrity, it's like how this guy William Shakespeare said, "He who steals my purse steals trash, but he who steals my good name away from me steals my whole life." So if you want to do business,
hold on. Go again. Say that again.
Saying, Shakespeare said, "He who steals my purse steals trash, but he who steals my good name steals my life away from me." So in building the brand and stuff like that, once you have a good name, you build that good name, you protect that name. Sometimes you want to drink, you want to take a drink. I don't drink because I'm afraid if I ever take a drink, I'll get drunk and I wouldn't know myself and bad things might happen, right? Or I tell people I don't think they should drink when they do, and I tell you not to drink, and you just suddenly pop up on me, and I want to talk to you, and I have to turn my face because I have alcohol on my breath. No, I'm not telling people they shouldn't drink. My wife and I, sometimes people invite us, and we say, look, they say, let's go and have a drink. I say, we drink orange juice. And then they call us and tell us when you're ready for us to meet, they ain't call us. Because what they want is for us to drink alcohol so our tongue could get loose. And then, you see how long you just ask me how to build the brand? Straight up, tell me or don't tell me, right? But they want to be able to get you drunk to tell you so that you really didn't do a favor for me. You didn't enlighten me. You didn't mentor me. You understand? But you're waiting until my tongue loose. So you could say, well, you don't have to give no credit.
Well, Professor, you're growing this brand with intention, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing about intention is not just what is your intention, and what is the quality of your intention. What is the quality of your intention? And when you're around people, and them people that you are around have a certain quality in the intention, that's what your outcome will be. But if the people have bad intention and this, you want the people who know where they're going and they're sure about themselves. And how you have to do that a lot of times is by telling them up front, this is what I want, this is who I am, right? And this is what I expect.
Yeah.
Can you do this? Do you have what it is that it takes to go on this journey with me? Because some people will come this far but not go that far in your life. In your business that you starting, 10 years from now, if you are the same staff, let me tell you, you're lucky. You're lucky. You might have a new staff, but you will always be there. You will always, because it's your thing. You're doing your thing, and those who doing it with you and believe in you, and they're seeing the benefits of what you're doing. Like I tell my guys on the dojo, the senseis, every time you guys put a young man in a gi or a young woman in a gi, in a dogi, I'm one of these, every time you put them in a gi, you save a life. Every time. A man murder one of my sons, right? And I thought that was going to be the end of my life. Wow. I thought that was going to be the end of my life because I already in my mind, as a martial artist, as a warrior, when that happened, I say, let me find out where all those guys live in Australia. I already find out where all of them live in. I already find out what time did us come, what time does go. I find out about their mother. I find out about all the people connected to them. And I had a list of everybody and what time they come in and go in and all that. And I said, that is it. And that's one of the times that I had to have my strongest no in my life. My strongest no. My strongest no. Because if you don't have a strong no, you have a weak yes, eh? You know? And because I don't want to go deeper in this, but I'll tell you that I don't have everybody. I don't know when they come in, when they go in, where they lime in, where this and that, and all kind of before they was arrested by the police. You understand? And then I had to restrain myself not to do what I was trained to do. So it was the ultimate discipline.
Wow.
So you have any neck pain? How about shoulder pains? Back pains or lower back pains? You have any hip pains, knee pains, ankle pains, plantar fasciitis, or any Achilles tendonitis, any carpal tunnel syndrome? Hey, here's one. At the Rehab Center, 15 years of experience, we are here to help you with those pains. Into manual therapy, physical therapy, with our orthopedic consultant, with massage therapy, with exercise therapy, and body alignments. If you have any one of those discomforts, call us at 703-1579 or 747-3422. Rehab Center. Remember, we have your back.
If you don't have a strong no, you have a weak yes.
Yes.
And that's not my original quote. That quote comes from a woman by the name of Ianla Van San. I took my wife to see, I like her a lot. She came to Trinidad I have all her books. And because I travel a lot and I go to a lot of seminars and stuff. Long before there are these positive seminars and all these things. I've been going to seminars 40, 50 years ago. In Canada and listening to people like, all night and give different people. And I remember going to one seminar. I took one guy with me, one of my students, Anthony Thompson. He's a professor too. And I never forget, and I told a lot of people that one of the things that he says, the more problems you have in life, is the more alive you must be. If you have problems, you have to come alive. When people have problems, they start to give up to the problem. I can't take this. I want to quit. I want to kill myself. I done with that. I can't take them again. But more problems you have, he says, is the more alive you must be. So if you have this much problem, you can't be as alive as your problem. You have to find a way to be more alive than your problem to solve your problem. Otherwise, you'll never solve your problem. Or you have to have friends and borrow some time and energy from them so that they help you to just get above your problem. So that you get strong and then, you owe them some time now whenever they have some problem. That's what the friendship is about. I could call on you. You could call on me whenever we're down.
Oh, gosh, Professor. Oh, gosh. You're talking to me there, boy. You're talking to me. Tell me about one of your biggest failures. Have you ever failed before?
That's a tough question again that you're asking me there. Because everybody always fail if you want to use the word fail. It's just a choice of words, right? But
how do you view failures?
Failure or setbacks. I have had lots of, I would like rather to see it now as a setback. The time when a lot of things happen to me that I call a failure or feel myself as a failure, as I get a little older and a little wiser, I realize it was a lesson. It was an opportunity to learn and grow to be a leader. So now you can tell people, it's okay, it's safe to come. Keep moving. That is just a temporary roadblock. That is just a temporary roadblock.
Yeah.
Right? They put that roadblock there to stop you from understanding your boundaries, to put in some limit on you. So that's temporary. So it's not really a failure. So somebody say, you can't go over there, you can't do this, and you feel like a failure. You feel, and simple things make you feel like a failure, like you study hard in school, and then when you come out, you just try to get a job that they promise you if you have this degree and you have that, and you didn't get through. So you feel like a failure, but you're not a faillie. You wasn't delivered in this world in defeat. Those people trying to fail you for whatever reason, they are the failure. They are the scared people, not you. Because you are to be brave enough to be able to take your adversities and your challenges and all that and say, what do I do with all this that they say that, I am a failure? You ought to be able to take that and say, do I want to be an entrepreneur? Even have to start at the street level and buy orange and sell them over, sell eggs, whatever. I want to make enough money. I'm going to then do this and do that and migrate to different things. Or I'm going to just sit down here and roll over and cry.
So what are some of the keys that you think led to the success of Purple Dragon?
Well, a lot of things, but hard work really works. Hard work really works, and determination and knowing that, that you wasn't delivered in this world in defeat. Right, and that's some of the key to be able to help me with Purple Dragon and with life and with business and that kinds of stuff. To be able to you have to be able to do things that you've never done to get to places that you have never been. So you have to do things differently. You have to be able to, because a lot of people in life, my dear brother, a lot of people speeding in reverse thinking they're going forward like a drunk driver, Their life, they're speeding and in reverse, but in their mind, they think they're going forward. They're like on a treadmill, and they're moving by and going nowhere.
You have to do things that you've never done in order to go forward.
To get things that you have never had.
Wow.
Or to be able to move forward. So what you want and what you never do. What you never do. And the worst part of it, when you say, I'll never do this and I'll never do that. If you never get, look, I see somebody eating dog the other day, right? And they say they'll never eat dog, and I see them tasting dog and all kind of stuff. And they weren't hungry, I don't know what, they just wanted to be experienced to eat some dog, right? Now, when we was in Africa, I never know African people used to eat dog. I thought it was only Chinese people used to eat dog. And this is no disrespect to Chinese people. I have all kinds of people in Puba, I love them all, right? And but people eat different things, like because of their culture. The culture, whatever it is. But when we was in Africa, we realized African eating dog. Not only African eating dog, African eating bat. Because we went to one place and the guys, you all want some bat soup? I said, bat soup? And like, what is this? Because we get taken out of our comfort zone.
Go into a little bit more about that. How does travel open your perspective and broaden your horizon?
Well, I think people who not traveling is I feel sorry for people who don't travel. Traveling really is a phenomenal experience, and but then again, to travel, you have to have some sort of resource. You have to have a passport to pass the port. Because if you don't have a passport, you can't pass the port. By me traveling, I see so many things that I would never, if I didn't leave Trinidad and go to different parts of the world and go not with my eyes open. Because if your eyes open, you still wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't understand when your eyes have to be wake up to what you're looking for. It's like praying, and when you pray, you're expecting something to happen and you went to sleep. So it passed you and you didn't get it. So traveling, you have to go with a different kind of like what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an opportunity that I never see, that I could take and I could go back to Trinidad, I could sell this, I could do this. It doesn't matter if it's a clothes hanger. That shape will make different, that you could put on more clothes on. But you're looking for something. And anytime you're looking for something, you're going to find what you're looking for. Yeah. Even if you don't know what it looked like physically, but in your mind, I'm looking for something. And whenever it reveals itself, I will know that's what I'm looking for. It didn't matter if it was a relationship, and even the woman. You're looking for a husband, you're looking for a wife, you're looking for, when they come, it's, oh God. I said, that's what I'm looking for. Sometimes when you're looking for, you have to look a second time, because when you look and you find what you're looking for, it's gone.
Oh, wow.
it's gone.
Oh,
Somebody
wow.
else have it, you go, oh boy.
Oh,
so
wow.
now you have to intensify your look. But now you have an idea, you know, what you're looking for because you see it.
You strike me as a philosopher. Yeah?
Really?
Yeah, you strike
A
me
lot
as a
of people say
philosopher.
that, you know.
Well, how does a guy come from Mon Diablo, having a library, reading books, traveling? How important is reading for you, and has it been for you?
Well, you know, show you my album, my library in the back, right? When I was young and stuff like that, I had a big problem with reading because a dyslexia. Right, and I didn't know, when I was growing up, I didn't know what dyslexia was. Nobody knew in Trinidad. So 60 years ago, they say, Miss Jacob, something wrong with your son. They put up voodoo, they put Obia, they work Obia on him. He ain't doing so good in school, his grades ain't so good. But it's not my grades wasn't so good. I didn't have a smart enough teacher to be able to understand that there was something wrong and I needed to be taught a different way to get the results. I had a teacher who used to gamble. His name was Mr. Rago Barasingh. But I could have run fast, and he was a gambler. So he would say to me, Jacob, we're talking about the book in the library and reading it, right? He said, Jacob, can you run faster than those guys? I say, yes, sir. He said, how you know? I said, they live in my village, sir, and we run on the streets and I beat them. He said, when you beat them, how bad your sisters come from behind and pass them? He said, all right. So he betting money on me when I run in. So I win in race, he making money, he get to like me. Because all the other teachers said that I was dumb. But they didn't know I was having an issue with, because when they tell me right side is left side and left side is right side, you know, it's just confusing. Sometimes they 6 on the board, I put in 9. You know, an M, I put in a W, you know, and all that kind of thing. So, but at a feeling, I want to run away from school because I ain't doing good. So this gambling teacher, he said, I will help you. Because you just have to keep running and tell me who you could beat so I could make money. And recess time and lunchtime, this man will keep me. And I went from coming last in tests every time to 5th. From last to 5th. That's a big jump in a class with about 30, 35 kids.
Yeah.
So at that point, I realized I have genius, I have greatness in me, I could learn. It's just them people telling me this and telling me that. So I started to, you know, I wanted to be able to read interested books about this and that. So sometimes when people sleeping, I would buy different types of books on different things, and I would read. You're not the best way I can until I learn and get better and better and better. Now I write in books. I wrote more than 12 books. You understand?
Yeah.
So somebody who could read and don't read worse than somebody who can't read.
You knock me out there, boy.
No. If you could read and you don't read, you're worse than a man who can't read.
Ignorance.
Saying he can't read.
Yeah.
And you could read and you don't read and learn, you don't grow.
Wow.
You know? And you have to read and you have to learn. And one of the things that I tell people all the time is that, you know, the biggest enemy to words, the only words we have in here, the biggest enemy to words is inaction. You can talk all you want to talk and you put in no action to the talk, you'll never make it and you're jealous the other guy who working.
I agree with that, you know. I agree with that. And some people who love to have me on their committee because I'm a doer, you know.
Of course.
Yeah, as soon as you give me an idea, I run in with that, you know. Yeah. I don't want people around me who don't have the energy to run with me.
No, what you doing? You're just wasting my life.
There you go.
Every time I look at the clock, you know, and you look at the second hand, you see ticking. Ticking is like you're dying, or you're living.
Yeah.
Choose which one. Because some, as Les Brown says, some people born, die, and never live, you know.
Listen to me, man. I love that man, you know.
Oh, yeah. I went to many of his seminars in America. When he came here to Trinidad, I follow him in Canada, you know.
One of his favorite quotes for me is, better be prepared for an opportunity that never comes than an opportunity come and you're not prepared for it.
Yeah. Les Brown is a master motivator,
Love
you know.
that,
He's
love
something
that.
else.
So let me ask you, let me swing a little bit here now. So how you manage the success and the ladies, right?
Well, you know, I actually, when I started to become more and more successful, actually, I had a lady walk up to me and say, Mr. Jacob, all that money you're making, let me help you spend it now. You know, and you have to be able to deal. You know, serious women these days, they're not mixing no matters like long ago, you know, come and hunt me down. You know, not that again. Out there is real competition because most women, and I'm sorry to say this, and I don't know I might get licks for this on your program here, most women hate other women. Most women hate other women. All girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. They don't like other women. Most. Not all, most. Otherwise, if that was the case, they wouldn't have no honing and they wouldn't have no this and taking your man and all them kind of thing. You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah,
You're going to edit out this all.
No.
No, but
Go,
those
man,
women
push into it, push
talking
in.
your girlfriend this and that,
Yeah,
but they hate
yeah.
other women.
Yeah.
That's why they're mashing up their home. They hearing all your business. They're going to tell your girlfriend, my husband do this, and next thing you understand?
Yeah,
And so on. So we in a situation where you just have to be dealing with reality. So dealing with the women who, women, they'll just come to you and tell you as it is. Doesn't matter if you're married. If you have a great relationship, you ain't have a great relationship, you ought to be the one to say, let me keep my zip up. You ought to have the one, either you have a weak yes or,
a week no.
Right.
Yeah.
You ought to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And not only just you, I mean, your wife or your woman too ought to be able to encourage you to stay focused.
Oh gosh, man.
She's supportive. I'm lucky. This is my second time around, but I ain't even lucky, man. I bless.
Yeah.
And highly favored.
Yeah.
Like I just tell my wife sometime, where you was hiding all the time, girl? Where you was hiding all the time? When I had my separation the first time and stuff, I went and joined something called eHarmony. You know the eHarmony program?
Yeah.
You're looking for love online?
Yeah.
And I had about 2,500 women that applying. And I coming home in the night from the dojo and I only going through thing to see women, even rich Japanese woman that come and they go, are you really looking for no suffering? I'm not looking for that. I'm not interested in no suffering thing. I'm looking to enjoy my life. My wife understand that.
Yeah.
Right, and I join her and I going through and I looking for all kind of women and I interview them. I had like a list of questions, the do's and don'ts to see if we have any compatibility. And I had my search was a wide search. I didn't want to just search Caribbean, and my search was Africa, India, Japan, Nepal, Europe, everywhere. Because you could extend your search, right? And I just getting people calling and saying, man, I tell you, I even had people coming to Trinidad from Ukraine, all about right here to be interviewed to see if they're capable of being my wife. No, seriously.
Yeah.
And then as I spend all that money, eHarmony and all that, and then I find my wife traveling. I say, God, but I really waste so much of money. Why? I say, where this woman was hiding. So life in terms of women and all that is a beautiful thing. If you have any kind of success and you don't have nobody to share the success with, you're a failure. You need to have people that you could share your success with. Or just like if you have a success in a business where you don't have a successor, you're still a failure.
Wow.
So when you was asking me about the good men and the good women around me, or about number two, the number twos, you need to have a number two.
Well, this is my next question, because I had a friend tell me one time that people don't understand the value of being a number two. And the same Professor Anthony Thompson that you mentioned, I entered Purple Dragon when I was like 11 years old, and I remember him from since then.
Right.
And he's there still.
Still here. His children, his grandchildren.
Wow.
All the family come here.
And so I imagine, I've looked at that and I've been like, yo, that man has to be your best friend.
Yeah. Now, man, these guys, as soon as they drop out, leave school, they came and joined Purple Dragon. When my kids was born, them guys came to the hospital, and meet and greet my kids as a baby. Going to when the baby born, going to the hospital with me to meet, this is my son, this is my daughter, this, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
When they going and get married, when they came and they went to get married, I was the best man in the wedding. And the godfather too for all of them kids. And, so you build a family after a while. We could lean on each other, we could talk to each other. Yeah. So much that when we have Black Belt grading, one of the songs that we borrow is lean on me when I'm not strong. I'll be a friend to help you carry on. I'll help you carry your load. I'm just up the road. As we do, we sway and we sing and we cry. Because your people must know when you become a Purple Dragon student and you become a Purple Dragon warrior, you're not just some commodity to pay my bill. You mean something, and I value you. I value your membership. You wear this patch have a whole serious set of meaning on it. Yeah. This is a whole poem, it's a whole, it's serious. All the acronyms and stuff like this. So when people come to Purple Dragon, I take them serious. Some I know. Some of the people I know, personally, some of them I've never met as yet. They join in some other place. When I go to grade, I'll meet them for the first time at different times. But it's a serious organization with serious people, with a serious philosophy, and it's a family. It's a family, a home away from home.
How do you encourage a young man to build character?
Well, the thing about building character, not only building character, but building a good and a strong, solid character, is by actually finding out what do you want out of life and do you know. And if you don't know, because you need to know what is available, how to receive what is available, and what you're going to do with it when you get it. Because if you're going to get anything and you don't know what you're going to do with it, when you get it, you wouldn't appreciate it.
True.
Right? So in order to build a good character and stuff like that, the guy, you must know what is in your heart. What's in your heart? What's the quality of your intention? What you want out of your life.
Yeah.
Not what other people want for you, like what you say your father want for you, my father wanted for me, and all. Because other people try to live their life through their kids and stuff. I made that mistake telling my kids, yeah, you got to do this, you got to do that, and some of them say, no, I don't want to do that, I want to do you, I want to do me. But I know they want to do me, because all of them end up doing me at the end, nothing else, right? But the point is that it's the method and how you might talk to them and how you approach, because it's not what you say, it's how people feel about what you say, right? So, sometimes as your kids get bigger or the students grow older, you have to learn when to stop talking to them and when you have to start talking with them. Because now they have beard like you.
Yeah.
They have a girlfriend, they have a boyfriend, they have whatever it is, and you have to be able to hear their views, and to be able to, to listen to them and talk with them and hear how they feel. You have to be able to understand, to be able to, if I could ask any of my kids, what was some of the, I would like to ask them, I never did, what were some of the best times that you had with me? And what was some of the worst time you had with me? And whether or not that the best time that you had with me was good enough to override the worst time that you had with me. And if you can't answer that, then whatever is your worst time or your best time, that you like or you don't like, manage that with your own kids, otherwise you'll end up in the same circle that you don't like.
Wow. So we're in the rapid fire segment here, right? I'm going to test your knowledge on Trinidad and Tobago. What is the highest point in Trinidad? Do you know the exact name and the exact height?
I know the highest point is about 3,084 or something. So, but I really can't remember. It's some kind of Spanish name.
Yeah.
With Spanish name and all that kind of thing.
El Carrio de la Ripo.
What a brain. I'm glad I didn't throw you on your head when you was in Purple Dragon, boy. All
right. Here's another one. Trinidad is home to the world's hottest pepper, once holding the Guinness World Record. What's its name?
Is that some kind of miaro, some kind of spider or scorpion or something? I don't know. Is it miaro?
It's Trinidad Moruga Scorpion pepper.
Moruga Scorpion.
Yeah. Good, man.
Moruga,
Good.
Where do they have all them coconut trees? Where's that?
Mayaro. Yeah,
right,
Mayaro. Okay. Which village in Trinidad is known as the doubles capital of the country?
I just came from there, boy. That's D-Bay. I just come from D-Bay, passing through to go to Mondial. My wife just tell me, boy, you can't eat too much of that. It's nice and delicious, but take your time.
Yeah. So what does Purple Dragon have for itself in the future?
Well, the Purple Temple, that's what our main focus now is building up, because that's the legacy that I want to leave. We have 5 acres of land in Mount Diablo that I inherited from my parents, and we actually building the Purple Temple Dojo there, and the House of the Purple Dragon. The House of the Purple Dragon is already built, and one of the things about that estate there is to be able to help people to be able to learn to defend themselves, educate themselves, and defend themselves. Defend yourself, educate yourself, and that's what we want to do there. So that Purple Temple, people come from all over the world to be able to train there, and that's the name of the property is called the Sanctuary of Truth. So it's a sanctuary where you come there, there's no foul language. When you come there, there's a spiritual energy. When we build the dojo and we're raising funds now to do it, we hope people come on board and help us with brick and whatever it is. When you come there, you're going to have like a little chapel. There are different religions, any religion, people stress they could come there, they could go there and they could just meditate. Yeah. They could physically train. They're going to have fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, because they're going to plant, people will be planting food planting whatever, fresh coconut water, fresh everything off the land.
Yeah.
You come and spend 2 weeks, you train, you unwind, you're having marital problem, you lost your job, you're stressed out, you come up there, you train, you clear your mind, you read the Purple Dragon books, you jump on a plane, you go back where you come from, or if it's from right in Trinidad here, you're a member only situation. So that's the next step that we're on, and I really hope that at some point you could drive up there with me and I could show you, what we're doing.
I would love that. Professor Don Jacob, I want to thank you so much for welcoming us into your home and welcoming you in wellness into Purple Dragon International. Thank you so much for having us.
Well, good luck with all what you're doing and your message. I hope it resonates with people, and I hope that what you're doing to help men and women with your therapy and all that. I just wish you success beyond measure.
There was a time when you said it is very important to say thank you because they could have gone somewhere else, but they decided to stick with you. And from since then, when somebody puts money in my hand, because that's the context it was, when they put money in your hand, watch them in the eye and say thank you. And that's a principle.
You remember that?
Listen to me. That's a principle that's a principle I live by. When somebody gives me money and puts money in my hand, I tell them thank you because guess what? You didn't have to give me it.
If somebody give you cash, like let's say they give you a couple dollars, they're paying you for something, service or so. Always turn the money. Let's say it's $100. If you turn it back, 100, and the next one you seen it as 200. Right? So you always turn money back to you. If something they're paying and they're using a card, just kind of rotate the card towards you because that represents money at that time. Right? So you always figure ways to double, fold it towards you and say in your mind, my money will double. I have what it takes to work for this, honestly, and intelligently, and it will double itself. If even you're paying a bill, when you pay the bill, double it back to you. So as it go, it will return to you. Return it to the sender, the giver. And that worked for me. My wife does it all the time. We does it all the time. And it's just a lot of Purple Dragon students do it, and they say some of them is millionaires and all kind of different thing now. But what you really think about is what you bring about. Thinking really makes it so.
One of the things that I too, when growing up, that you really helped me with, I remember one time sitting in one of the black belt classes, and I was an orange belt at the time. It was a team meeting, and we were sitting there and you were saying, hey, y'all know this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad? Y'all know this book, Rich Dad? I want everybody to get a Rich Dad, Poor Dad book and read it, everybody. And as I look back on it now, I've read the book several times. Wow. And as I look back now, I'm seeing that you were actually my rich dad. Wow. And my dad was, God rest his soul, was in his thinking was my poor dad. And because I could not understand, but I couldn't understand when I said certain things to my dad could not see it.
I understand.
You couldn't see it, and when I said, Dad, we could start a taxi service and we could do this and we could do that and we could do, and in 5 years, boom, we have a fleet of cars and we're doing this and we're doing that. And he's like, yeah, but oh God.
But they say, but erases all the good things that went before.
Listen.
So we have to be careful on how we using the but.
Yeah.
My wife was trying to teach me how to drive because in America. Because I keep going over on the next side of the road, and she said, "You boy, you're gonna this is not Trinidad. You have to be on this side." So we decided we're gonna get an instructor to help us. His name was Benjamin. So Benjamin come and he started helping, and he, I used to pay him. And one day I decided, let me give him my book, one of my books, Fighting Man Bible, as a gift because he was so patient with me. I gave him the book, and then he didn't want to take money from me again. He said, from today you're going to be my mentor. I can't take money from you. And then I just wanted to just not be his student because I wanted to pay for the service. But I asked him, I said, Benjamin, why are you a driving instructor? He said, well, I don't have to be. He said, I am well educated and this and that, and then he make a lot of money and all that kind of stuff. But his dad, who he loved very much, was killed by a drunk driver. And as his dad was killed by a drunk driver, he decided that he will open a driving school with a fleet of cars to teach people safe driving. just to be able to honor his daddy.
Yeah,
and I just happened to be one of his clients.
Yeah.
So you telling your daddy about the cars and all that, if maybe that at the time that you had a better understanding of the power of the selection of words, and you tell him something like safe driving, to do that or so, he might understand. He might understand, but you was just rising at such a high level that you was expecting that daddy here with me because he educate me, or he make a good son. So whatever I say, I think he there with me.
Yeah.
But daddy wasn't there with you because he was just growing fast.
Yeah, I was young and way mature beyond my age, man.
Yes.
Way mature beyond my age. And another thing I had experience with, and it slipped right out my head and gone. Oh, it come back just now.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. It happens to the best of us. Intelligence caused that, everything running in your brain.
It's so amazing. It's so amazing that the way in which you have influenced my life in so many different ways. That just to be able to have this conversation with you is really, oh gosh, is a joy for me.
I am so proud. When that parent called me and she says, there's a young man, he have an awesome program. He's a real good guy and he's deep into health and he's helping a lot of people. And she says sometimes, he would do things for people and they don't have no money and he wouldn't even charge them and he'd help them. And that's what this woman's saying, eh?
Yeah.
But she's a Purple Dragon student. So just saying that he's a good, no, I didn't know it was a Purple Dragon student, this woman talking about. But my time is so, I'm not trying to put myself on no pedestal, but my time is valuable. All right. Because sometimes I would go and have a talk with somebody like this, just a talk, and it would cost $1,000 an hour, US dollars, not TT.
Wow.
An hour.
Wow.
With no stress. My wife could tell you, right?
Yeah.
So when she told me that, that she want me to come and talk to this gentleman and blah, 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 and I says, well, I don't know who it is. And I really, because she didn't really give me no real background. She just tell me that what a nice guy and your heart is so good and in the right place. And I say, well, look, then you could share the number and then we'll see if it is. But I don't know if I could help this guy.
Yeah.
Or if this guy could really help me.
Yeah.
But then she said, but why just look at, we'll send the link and I think you send me a link. And I look at one of your conversation and I look at one of your interview. I think it was you and 3 other guys and he's talking about money, foreign exchange, and with a real nice interview. I thought it was really, really good because it touched me because I'm having the same issue to get US. If I wasn't living in America, my business would have been closed. If I wasn't living in America, to be able to work, to be able to subsidize black belt martial arts, it would have been closed.
Wow. And my podcast helps or administered to you at some point.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's
and
fantastic. So I'm listening to this thing and they're talking about the guy talking about to go to Barbados and open my account, and the other one is going to Guyana and open my account. And things like that is what we're doing. Whenever we work and stuff like that, we want to bring money here, but we leave it in the States.
Yeah.
Because it's just a problem to get the money to buy goods. And people in the bank, some of them really want to help in our bank, but they could only do what? So much.
Yeah.
And they're trying to help everybody, but they have to help, maybe the 1%ers first, But but I understand and I like your program and I really, really would like to see that this blow up and come into become something really big with a Trinidad and the next Trini. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I remember it. So
I'm glad I'm able to unlock it.
I was at a conference, and in the conference, the guy was saying that he looked around Trinidad and he did not see a brand that was able to be exported, a local brand that was able to be exported globally. You've done that.
Of course. I tell people, and thank you, I tell people, if you go into America and you're a Purple Dragon student, you could pack your gi and find a place. You're going to Canada, you're going to Europe, you're going through the Caribbean, you could pack your gi and you're going and you're doing the same thing, same kun, same affirmation, same everything. Right? If you belong to West, let's say a pan group here, anyone in the top pan group, and you go into America, you go in Japan, you go in, so you can pack your stick in your bag, in your carry-on, and say, okay, I'll find a Desperados, or I'll find a this, or I'll find, and I could just go and knock pan with them because, you know, it started in Trinidad, but this is a branch here, and that is a branch here. Purple Dragon is the only thing in Trinidad and Tobago. And I am more known than in the outer world and traveled more than any of the prime minister or minister, this or Don Jacob. And I'm saying this on, you know, more travel than all of them guys. And I ain't putting on nobody. You understand? But I'm just telling you how it is. This here, this patch here, Purple Dragon, it says Trinidad and Tobago. And people from all over the world who don't even know Trinidad and Tobago wearing this across their heart.
Wow.
Trinidad and Tobago. And sometimes I ask whether or not I should rub, when I'm doing the rest of patches, I should take off Trinidad and Tobago. Because they give me a Hummingbird Award, and I can't ask everybody, what can I get a parking space in the airport? Can I get a parking space in the stadium? What can I do with this? Can I get a VIP pass through the airport when I'm going in and coming out? When I go to Tortola, I go to some part. When I go to America, I go home to the States, they say, welcome home. When I come to Trinidad, if I know the person, they'll say welcome. If I don't know, they face push up.
Wow.
Coming back to Trinidad. You understand what I'm saying? And that is not acceptable. Right? But yet I'm still having this gay. People wearing this all over who never come to Trinidad. And they will come one day because they're wearing something saying Trinidad and Tobago and they're Americans.
Wow. A prophet is without honor in his own home.
Yeah, you're so right again.
Yeah.
But it's painful. It's painful. And I'm 70 years old now. And I'm just saying, I want to do so much for Trinidad. I don't have to come back here. I'm an American. I don't have to be here. But I have my homes here. I have properties here. I have land here. I have students here. I have a store here. And I have the people here that I love. I have a common culture with them. And the people is nice people. The people and the country is a nice place. I drive up Maracas and just go, just inhale. When I come in home, I like to just, like a child, I looking out to see the land, see the thing, like I love Trinidad. But when I think of coming back home to crime, I think of coming back to all these things. I think you just don't know, it's one step at a time. You don't know if you're going to get good food, good clean water. You don't know what you're going to get. And I mean, thank God I'm in a position I can afford to pay for the water. But it's not about me. That's why I tell you, sometimes when I'm in the States, where we live in Boca Raton is a gated community. And I ain't talking about them gated like what they have. I'm talking about a gated community with real security people, with computers taking your time in and your time out, and that's where we live in. And sometimes in my own neighborhood, and I want to cry. I tell my wife, if I could only bring some of my guys here and so they could see what is possible, just to see what is possible, and if that is also their possibilities. I feel sad. Sometimes I take pictures, I make a little video, and I want to send it. I say, Don Jacob, they'll think you're showing off. Just leave it alone.
Wow.
Just leave it alone. Don't try it, because I'm trying to inspire them, but I'm not so sure. And sometimes it's not just the guys, The guys are all right because they're saying the kun, they're saying the affirmation, they're learning discipline, but their mother not learning it, or their girlfriend or their wife not learning it, or their husband not learning it. So that's when they should get that support when they go home, so that one-on-one becomes one. Not one-on-one is two.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah,
They're not getting that one-on-one is one. It's a separated count when they go home. Don't worry, he just get lucky. He's just one of the black guys that get lucky. I get lucky. Luck is an opportunity, meet preparedness. I work hard for my luck. I build my luck. I work, I sweat. No work, no food. So it wasn't easy.
Sound like you have a big heart there, man. You want to bring everybody up with you, man.
Yeah, but if you can make people around you and they're supporting you, they have you in a certain position, why, you have to pull them up.
Yeah.
You have to pull them up if you could. Once they're willing to come up and you could pull them, because how long again I could pull them? 70 years old. I mean, I might have a couple more years again. I don't know. I feel healthy. I feel good, but you have to help.
Yeah, I understand that. And that's a philosophy I too live by. The people that are around me, you can't stay in one place so long. And as much as I could help, I am going to help. As much as you have my back, I have your back.
That's the correct word. You have my back, I have your back.
Yeah. Professor, thank you so much again.
Thank God for you.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for joining us today on You in Wellness. Professor, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Professor, shake my hand.
Let me shake a good man hand, boy.
tonight.
It's okay. Get that. It's okay. You're not alone. I love it.
You're not being nice to me. As we talk about spirituality, we talk about wellness, we talk about oh gosh. Yes. Yeah. Just. Let me tell you something. When you were talking about shyness, you're still moving? Yeah, when you're talking about shyness, I could totally identify with you, because I too was a shy person, I remember a time we had to stand up in front of the class and read. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that clammed up. I had to sing a calypso in front of the class. Man, I read the calypso. I didn't want to sing. But then remember coming to class and you stand tall and and it's like, and you recite the dojo kun and I don't know when that shyness left, but I knew coming out of it in university, I was a very confident fella, confident enough. Look at me now, I'm sitting here talking to people, and that in itself is testament to your system. Wonderful. Thank you so much.